What's up, YouTube family? This is Jeff with a little bit of everything home services, coming to you with a video. Today I am again on my commercial job, and I ran into an issue doing my preventive maintenance. I saw that the VFD on the system that I was working on had a ground to fault error message on it. Now, I ran into this before where I had a ground to fault error message, and what I found was the wires were touching to the metal cabinet, and that was causing that ground fault. That's not the case in this particular incident. So in this incident, the issue that I ran into is an actual grounded compressor. So I figured, hey, why don't I take the time out to show you, for those of you who don't know, how to diagnose a ground compressor and what you have to do. So be right back with you. Let's get started. Okay, family, so I'm gonna give you a quick breakdown of what's what, so you will know. So this is a variable frequency drive. Both of these are. This one goes to compressor number 1. That's right there. And the second one right here goes to compressor number 2 right here. This first compressor. All right. So, and all it is simply put, these wires, these group of wires right here run to that first compressor I just showed you, and this group of wires run to this second compressor that I just showed you. So, the fault I was getting was on the first VFD. It gave me an error message saying ground fault. So I said, okay, well, let's test something out then. So now you want to make sure your system is powered off when you do this. Put your meter on ohms. And then what I'm going to check is I'm going to check continuity. Now, let's check continuity on the good one first. The one that's not faulted. So when I put my lead, right here on this terminal, and then I go to ground. This wire right here is ground. So if I go to ground, or I can go to the box right there, it don't matter to the metal, I don't hear anything. So on the compressor, that's good. That's not an issue. I'm gonna go from the black wire to ground, and I get OL. You see that? Now I'm gonna go to my red lead there to ground, and I still have OL. And the same when I go from white to ground. See that? I have OL. And that's what I should have. Now I could either go to the ground, or I can actually go to this metal cabinet too, and I still get OL. Now let's go to this compressor, and let's go from black to ground. You hear that? You see that? 2 on, and I'm getting continuity, saying that it's continuity. This circuit is reading the ground. Same thing when I go to the second one, same when I go to the third, as you can see. All right, so I'm like, man, this thing is grounded. So I'm like, all right, how do I know that there's not a wire touching somewhere inside of there? Well, let's go check that out. Since this runs to the compressor, let's go to the compressor, and we're gonna check the wiring, and we're gonna check the compressor as well. All right, so now I'm going to go from one lead to ground here on the cabinet, and you hear that? Continuity going to ground. Continuity going to ground. Continuity going to ground for all 3 legs. So I'm like, all right, well, that still doesn't mean anything quite yet. So let's disconnect the wires, and we're gonna see if this compressor is grounded. All right, so I just disconnected all 3 of these wires. Now let's check it to the compressor All right, so let's go and check here from the compressor to ground. Continuity. I got continuity to all three, and I'm not reading infinite. I'm reading that there's resistance there, so therefore, and you can hear the continuity beep. So this compressor is grounded on the inside. It needs to be replaced. Now that the wires are disconnected, I could go back up there and check. But to give you a visual confirmation, and you say, so you will know if you're in this situation, let's go to the other compressor. So let's pop off the cover. And remember, the power is off. The disconnect is off. And I checked to make sure there was still no voltage. So we're good to go. Now, I'm going to check it while it's hooked up, just like I did. Going to ground, nothing. As you can see, I'm going to each leg and going to ground, and I have absolutely nothing. Now, I'm going to do the same thing I did over there. I've just disconnected those wires, and I'm going to go to ground. Nothing. You hear that? No continuity, no beeping. I'm going to show you, and let's see here. You have infinity there. See that? Now, can you see it? Let me turn the light on to see if you can see it from here. It's a bad angle, but all right. To ground, still OL. Ground, OL, and to the final ground, OL. See, this compressor is not grounded. The other compressor is grounded. So this is just a simple tip how to check if your compressor is grounded or not. Disconnect the wires. I mean, in this particular case, I have the compressor running to the VFD, and then another set of terminals running to the internal parts of the VFD. So in this particular case, it's not any different than your regular home compressor. You can disconnect it and check it the same way, you know. So but here's that was just a quick tip on how to diagnose a grounded compressor. Now, I suspected that the compressor was grounded when I checked up there at the frequency drive. But anyway, family, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. I'm going to put this back together, and now I got to get to ordering a compressor. All right, I want to thank you for taking the time out to check out the video. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. That's how I know that this content is actually helping people and they're watching it and they want to see more. The more subscribers I have, the more encouragement it gives me to make even more videos. All right, family, I want to thank you again for taking them on out to check out the video. Have a blessed day. Talk to you soon.